What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading Investing. It's Friday. I got the true trend up over here because it's Friday. We have a Friday session ahead of us, but the markets are kind of live. Yesterday, Thursday, we was like, well, I think it was Cameron was like this, or might have been someone else, said this is kind of like a Friday, and today doesn't feel like a Friday. There's actually opportunity out there. Let's take a look. Let's just dive right into this session. We got a great session ahead of us, including looking at some really cool things together. Really cool things, including actually, you all know I've been on that bubble deep dive and looking how bubbles end and how far they have to go. Let's take a look at it all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That's right, David. Thank you all for being here this morning. This is truly the most this community is full of light. It's fantastic, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Yeah, of course, we'll start off with the Nasdaq. We'll start off with the markets. We're going to look at the dollar, which is actually much weaker again today. Gold and silver maintaining their bid. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day out there in the markets. Australian dollar, Japanese yen pull back into support. US dollar, Mexican peso just giving an entry. Euro, Swiss franc just giving an entry. The markets are humming right now, even the equity markets. Do you take an entry this Friday morning if you get any type of signal here, whether it's on the S&P or the Nasdaq? Do you take it? You know, we'll take a look at that because the markets are set up. Maybe not a bad idea. Sweden, greetings to you. Greetings to everybody. Good morning. Ooh, looking forward. Will, great to see you. Good to see you. Loved your comment last night, by the way. Tesla. All right. We'll take a look at Tesla today. All right. So, by the way, I'm going to do everything today just with the true trend showing. I know I don't normally do that, but it's Friday. I think giving, one fifth of the week to the true trend and just get this like different perspective today is perfect. Here you can see you're looking at the S&P 500. We'll get right to the Nasdaq next. We've got to get into the dollar and across the board. But over here you could see this. I didn't move this yesterday, but it came right into the trend line, our middle trend line. This area over here, is that also horizontal area of support? Yeah. So they always work together seemingly, right? What happens if resumption off this? Is that a trade you're looking for? I think so. I think so. And we're going to take a look later when I get into like some of the really exciting stuff I want to share with you, whether or not it makes sense leaning in here to buy or not. But, you know, this is definitely an entry right over here off this midline support over here, and then break below it. And then we have the sloping. Now it's sloping upwards. You can see as time goes by, this keeps moving upwards, and that will continue. Yeah, we have this support also to lean into, and the 31.23 horizontal support. So markets looking good here on that little bit of a pullback, and might resume out this session. They might. Here's the Nasdaq. That's not a double top. You can see that we've pulled back into an area of support right over here as well on the Nasdaq, right? Some people might be looking at the NDX. We'll look at that in 1 second. Or are we looking for a deeper pullback over here? You can see over here that the true trend is actually turning negative, right? You also at the same time see that, let me zoom in. You can see the entry CCI is already oversold, right? So you could get a snack back pretty quickly, always as you come across the zero line, as you did over here and over here. And if you look back, these were actually the best time. If you watch the true trend video I put out last Friday, it's just go to the channel. It's last Friday's video explaining the true trend. And I talked about when you're in these bull markets like this, the opportunity to buy is when the true trend goes the other way against the trend. That's what's happening right over here. It happened over here. Now it's happening again. So are you looking to sell the market? Are we setting up for a new true trend impulse? Are we going to see something like this? So like I said, it's Friday. So just go with the flow, right? This over here, this, and again, both times we were using the trend line as the place to lean into support. Those both times were when the true trend was in a negative impulse. You're not there yet on the S&P. If the S&P comes down into the trend line again, then you will be probably experiencing a negative impulse here on the true trend as well. Those seem to be, it's the technical signal for us. If we break this trend line here, the 31.23 support horizontally, then we're looking to sell. Will we be late on the crossover? Yeah, but I'm not. Look, it's not about catching the bottom and the top of the trend. It's catching the sweet spot in between where it's easy. That's where I need to hang out. So Nasdaq, S&P both pulled back into an area of support, both looking good. Even Nasdaq looking great here with this negative impulse taking place. You're still calling a top, in my opinion, if you try to get it. So it's too early for that. DXY, again now trading at a new weekly low. And you can see this has been quite oversold for a long time right now. It has been all the way since going back a week ago that this has remained oversold. And we do know oversold can remain oversold and overbought can remain overbought for an extended period of time. Otherwise, oscillators would make everyone $1 trillion. It would be so easy, right? But that's not how it works. And here right now, we're experiencing a big move against the dollar. The question is this the end of the move? Or is this going to end really extending down further? That's what we're watching for. Here's a chart on the 3-day to give you a better perspective. You can see that we're trading below the last low, back into March. So, definitely leaning towards a further extension down. I think that we see at least an extension down towards 94. That's what I am looking for, right? So weaker dollar, gold and silver on that back of that weaker dollar continue to put up solid gains over here. Gold, is it now approaching or how far? What's the high print on this, whatever data feed I'm using here, which I think I don't know what it is. It's IDC. All right, it's ICE. And it's 1920. 1920 is the all-time high on gold. Gold could very well be making new all-time highs today. This is the last piece of resistance. Look. So by the way, let me pull this up really quick for you, and it's really, really, really good. Yeah, I do two things. I'm not my Twitter game. I share really, really, really good content, including this really, really beautiful story about this father giving his son a bat, bringing his father and son to tears because his son started crying. But then I also it's on the portions, right? Here it is. This is what I wanted to share with you. You're seeing over here, it's on Zero Hedge. I didn't even know that. I thought it was on Twitter. You're looking at over here, you're seeing this beautiful cup with no handle, right? Yet I talked about just yesterday how as we came into this area over here on gold, and I just made a circle, right? I was like, sometime in that area over there, I think we're gonna experience a pretty good pullback on gold, right? So it's like somewhere in that region. And could that be the handle setting up? Maybe. I wasn't even looking at it like that, but in this context, that could put in a nice handle, possibly setting up in the future for gold. Because I don't think gold is going to go straight here to the moon. I don't think gold's going to go parabolic for quite some time. Same thing with silver. We're going to look at that in this today together. It's going to be fun. But before we get there, let's just keep going. And so anyway, as we're now $20 off new all-time highs, let's see what happens. Silver could extend up a little bit further here as it's got this momentum. Check it out on the 8-hour. You can see that it's now making an attempt at an impulse up as the 8-hour resuming out of this consolidation over here. No, I don't have Instagram, simply because they, Facebook owns them, and I just don't trust them. So we have a couple of calls for Tesla. I'm going to take a pause before I go back to silver. Tesla down 5% here. Yes, it's so confusing to me since there's no bid for another, 17 minutes. I don't know what Tesla's doing in the pre-market right now. Does anyone have a price for Tesla pre-market? It's hard for me to get or read one way or another. I think that what do I think? I think that if you're following on the indexes here and the general direction of the market, the individual stocks, including 1422, wow, that's into a nice support over here at 1422, right? That's a nice area of support. Anyone looking to buy off a resumption of support, that's your chance. Otherwise, we could see some significant correction on Tesla, so watch out. But I would follow the indexes, follow what the S&P is doing, follow what the Nasdaq's doing, and Tesla. If the markets are going up, Tesla's going up. No, actually, and later on, since it's Friday, I'll be happy to take a look at Apple, Nvidia. But right now, we're gonna stick with what's really really important, right? Where the money's to be had. And again, Australian dollar, Japanese yen into that support over here right now. That's an interesting place to look for a nice long entry. But before I get into that, what was I looking at? Let me just go back on the charts then. Before we got into Tesla. Here we go. Back to silver. Right? Silver, you could see right over here, resuming out of this little consolidation. This could get going, and the dollar could see some huge volatility today. One way or the other, this could be a really exciting few hours here as New York gets to work. And, I think if silver does make another impulse up, 24, what is that? 24.50, you could see the resistance. Over here, it was the area over here. It's the next area that if we do start making higher highs on silver and then just start getting away, that's a place I would be looking for profit taking and gold might then be sent to new all-time highs today, next week. It's knocking on the door. I don't think there's much stopping it. At the same time, Bitcoin, what's Bitcoin doing over here? Yeah, that's a good question. Why is the yen so strong today? Is it so strong, or is it a little bit of profit taking we're seeing, right? It makes sense after this run up we've seen in the equity markets here for some profit taking, right? And could that extend even further? Yeah. Let's see if this resumes out. If it resumes out, it's an easy layup entry. A layup is like a really easy shot in basketball that you can't miss. Almost can't miss. You could miss a layup. I don't know if there's an appropriate analogy in football or soccer or something like that, but that's what it is for basketball, right? It's just the easy shot, and it's clear as day. You have your map before you. If we lose that level, all right, then we're coming down further. We'll look to buy over here. Are things really changing? Are we breaking down technically? If we start breaking down technically, we'll be all over it. We'll be the first. Excuse me. We'll be the first ones. First ones. Yeah, I mean, a slam dunk was even more aggressive. That's not a slam dunk. A slam dunk is if you can miss a slam dunk too, you can miss a slam dunk too. So, boom, boom, dollar. We're going to keep watching the dollar. We saw again London trying to take it up, and then that sharp reversal. They keep happening. They keep happening that same time of day. Let's see what New York does with it. It's New York's ball. It's New York's ball today. Euro US dollar, let's check in as this is also at or near weekly highs. Really, really doing the damage to the DXY. The euro remains strong. Maintain from over here, the entry over here. Maintain this trade. That's a big trade actually. That's a nice looking trade. A few hundred pips into profit on the euro US dollar is a nice trade. There was a lot of people followed after over here getting long off the trend line. There's been no reason to sell that yet. I think a break of this angle right over here, that would be your first indication that, all right, maybe I want to take some profit here. And then I think a pullback into this line over here, that's where we're really looking to lean in for another buy opportunity into the take profit area, right? If we lose that, then we'll probably have a long, drawn out consolidation, taking us back, perhaps even as low as the 1.1473 area. And again, that's definitely a place also we'd be looking to lean in on. So we'll see whether it looks right now we're taking the quick route up. If you go back to the last time we broke out over here, we went sharp up, sharp down, and then really, really quick into the resistance before selling off. We're coming up quick again this time, a little bit firmer, right? So this has the potential, which I never thought going into the trade really, that it would have the potential so quickly to be shooting up toward its take profit. I thought it was going to take some time to play out, but it's doing what it's doing. You got to stick with it. Again, if we get up to there, for me, it's take profit. I think we consolidate and then maybe break through. Is it possible we come down hard? Yeah, I don't think that's what's going to happen. We'll watch for it. That's a really important area. We'll focus in a lot on it as it comes closer to it if we get there. But right now, that's the take profit area. Australian dollar, Japanese yen. This looks really ripe here right now. Also, you could see that, and this is not any type of science. This trend line over here, right? That's the trend line I have. You can see, price is a little bit below that. Well, we don't know where the close is yet, first of all. And you could see if I just move this trend line down to the right there. Now it has resistance. There it's support. That there's even more room. All right. So don't get just be loose about it. But we have some time over here and looking to lean in any type of resumption now upwards. That's a place that I'll be adding to I think an Australian dollar Japanese yen trade. Euro Swiss franc, you could see the support over here price so far today giving an entry off of that, and then so far backing back down almost towards a neutral level. The true trend is definitely in this upward impulse. going into that trend line in the past though, and let's get a look at that trend line. So by the way, if you're enjoying this Friday session, which I know I am, please go ahead and smash that like button for sure. Help the channel. Please do that. Yep, that's right, Eric. And I'm holding both, and that's why I'm not looking at this point to add to both, right? For me, it's now holding both long, and now a large piece of both long, and now moving forward to the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. So this trend line goes back a couple of years right now. You can see every time we've come into it in the past, the true trend has been up, never technically breaking above that line, and then back over here again, true trend up, but we didn't break above that level right now. It just happened again. The true trend was up into the level. Is this time different? Is this a bottom being put in over here? And are we getting ready to break above this right now? If you think this is the trend line, here's the big resistance, get above that, and this thing has broken and confirmed. So right now, are you looking for any type of entry off of that support, right? Is that your entry into this trade? Possibly setting up this morning. US dollar, Mexican peso, similar situation over here. This trend line over here, by the way, on the US dollar, Mexican peso, if you lose that trend line and start trading up, do not be short the peso versus the dollar, right? Do not be short the peso versus the dollar, because there's a good chance this thing is coming up and could come up all the way towards that 23.20 level. That might mean that we're seeing a further correction on the equity markets, which of course could line up really easy, really well. But at the same time, you are getting another opportunity here, another confirmation of another short signal over here coming into the 22.16 support. If that does break, that does open up, much lower targets, starting at first 21.88. That's your, first little take profit, and then looking for either a test and or break of the range down over here, 21.60. So those are the levels to be watching. So there's a lot going on. You got New Zealand dollar, US dollar set up really nice, right? Resumption off that. That's set up beautiful. Lesser so here. That's after the break of that trend line resistance and now trading below it. That's not so hot on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. So I talked about the euro, Japanese yen looks very similar to the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. You could see this trend line over here where you're into right now. Follow the mouse over here. I'm just picturing in your mind a trend line up through there. I mean, it's just that, right? So is it possible we're holding this, and able to make another? Yeah, but I have to be honest. For me, this looks more solid. This looks like a better, cleaner setup for me to take an opportunity. What happens if we break down over here? What happens if we break down? Let's look at this little bit of range we're in, right? I would say, I think I should clone that or something. Let me come back. All right. So I would say over there's really pretty good, decent, strong support, right? That looks similar to, what does that look similar to? I guess most similarly to the S&P 500. No, the S&P 500 broke the June high. So the Dow, it didn't make that. No, so it's weird. The Australian dollar, Japanese yen right now is in between the S&P 500 and the Dow. It touched its June highs. S&P 500 broke them, and the Dow never made it up to the June high. So Australian dollar, GP, Australian dollar, US dollar, that looks actually better than the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. They both look almost identical, but this looks a little bit better over here. It really does. Let me just go ahead and move up where we're at. Let's see what happens. Australian dollar looks like it's at a breakdown across a lot of charts. We really are back to where we started back in February. The Australian dollar's back to those February levels. The markets are pretty much back to those February levels. Less so the Dow, more so the Nasdaq at new all-time highs. S&P 500 is pretty close. So interesting, how much more do we got over here? Listen, it's all artificial at this point because the economy is not back where it was back in February. Back in February, the economy was doing much better. There were fragile cracks showing, and we were aware of all those cracks, right? We kept talking about cracks actually, and here they are, and this is all artificial, running on stimulus and expansion of the printing of the dollars as QE is in full force, and that's set to continue. That is set to continue. So could this go further? Well, I think so. I think so. 800 watching. Wow, Mr. K. That's awesome to have 800 of you in here with us all today. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I just want to give a big thanks for spending this time together. Got a big session ahead because there's some really cool stuff I want to get into, starting with the parabolic top in silver, then looking at what that looked like on Bitcoin, and then looking which Bitcoin and silver are identical, and then looking at the .com top of the Nasdaq in 2000, and look what that top looked like, which was identical but to a much lesser extent. We're going to look at that all from above. Jake, welcome. Glad you're here with us. Gold. I hope it's during the live stream. If gold makes new highs today, I hope that it is during the live stream. Same thing with silver. I hope we get a nice run up. It would be exciting. Why not? All right, so I talked about US dollar, Mexican peso. We went through the New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar pairs, the euro, Swiss franc, also the opportunity that is currently offering. FYI, on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, there's no entry today by any means. It's impossible. So the Australian dollar, Japanese yen will be something that I'll be looking at closely coming into Monday, and then as well as also the Australian dollar, US dollar as well, maybe even more so. But right now, I took a look at the euro, Swiss franc, and the US dollar, Mexican peso. Bitcoin lagging. Bitcoin continues to lag. It will soon be Bitcoin's time to shine. On another impulse upwards over here, look on the 3-day. We're getting close. I was talking about we're just $300 off on Bitcoin. A $300 move on Bitcoin, by the way, could happen in an instant. And then that's the trend line to set off the bull market. So let me pull back, by the way, just to give everyone a little update. The all-time high on silver is $19.20. We're currently trading $15 below the all-time high on silver. On gold, look, it's overextended going into that impulse up. As we enter into that area, I do expect some type of pullback. We then looked this morning at this cup and handle. I mean, beautiful cup, no handle. Is it possible a handle soon develops on gold? I do think so, and if that does occur, I think everyone needs to really pay attention to that chart pattern very, very carefully, and look on a successful break to be taken, part in that for sure. I wanted to look at this. If you remember, we looked very recently at this very chart. This is going to set off. Pay attention, by the way. If you don't have your coffee with you, do you have any espresso drinkers, by the way? If you're an espresso, and I love espresso. I mean, I'm a filtered coffee guy, but I love espresso. Here we are right now looking at this chart. This is the Nasdaq during the .com bust. I keep telling people that we're not going parabolic, and they're like, we're going parabolic, right? So I pointed out how this over here, this little pattern, this deep pullback, and then to the area where the first red dot appears. Now the red dots is when the Nasdaq was up more than 2% to a new 52-week high, but fewer than 53% of the stocks on our index are rising that day, which means you had just a few a few darlings making all the gains, right? So yeah, Michael. Yeah. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing like a good espresso. Absolutely love it. No, Pete's what is it? Major Dickinson's. Pete's is a lot of love for Pete's. Cuban espresso. Ooh, now you're talking my language. And the only thing better is a Turkish. All right. So, by the way, let's follow me really closely. This is so cool. So, and not only this whole big segue this is going to lead into. It's Friday, so let's really get on it. I just need to peek at the markets before we do. All right. U.S. markets opening right now down 0.5%. Nasdaq leading again yesterday, down 2%. Now already down another percent. Gold and silver bid, dollar off. Bitcoin maintaining but lagging. All right, here we go. Bringing us back to this. This is the first red dot. Picture this in your mind. This is little down up to red dot. Little down up to the red dot. Now this was just by the way, what happened over here? This was the .com bubble, right? Easy Fed monetary policy leading to this bubble. And here is the first time the Nasdaq was up 2%, why 53% or more of the stocks did not rise that day. You see this consolidation period over here that kept happening, volatility. This is the breakout. Remember this pattern, this is parabolic, right? Now, picture this valley over here, by the way. Picture that valley over here. And then picture this one over here. All right. Notice the higher low. This one over here. Notice the higher low. Notice the valley. Notice the valley. Notice the higher low. Notice the higher. It's the same pattern. And then over here, up until the red dot. Over here, up into the red dot. Watch what Derek did over here. He took 89 through 2002, and he just moved that over to here, where it starts at number 1. Now, remember, I was asking you to look at that valley, to the red dot, to the red dot. He actually has it where he started it, it puts the red dots at the same place. So that's cool, right? And you can see over here, they lined up perfectly. And over here at number 3, they lined up perfectly. You had the same little valley in number 2. So, where he's got it lined up, we're in perfect sync. I just also noticed that valley, right? That valley. So, and then he has a cleaner chart over here. There it is. Yeah, after he moved it over, that's what they looked like. So here's where we are today, right? There's where we were in this fractal back, 2 years before the .com bubble really blew. Is that 2 years? Let's get that exact. Yeah, 1999 we'll call it. This is the real run-up. We haven't even gotten towards the phase of the real run-up yet. Just according to this fractal, invest off that? No. Pay attention? Yeah. By the way, what's going on over here is that the Fed started QE. All right. So, by the way, and pay attention to where you're at, second red dot. That means that we are now about 47 months to the next Bitcoin halving. Here's where we're at in the 4-year halving cycle. Look what's going ahead. As we get towards this parabolic phase, how do we know? How do we position out to get out of these investments? How do we know when silver's popping? How do we know when to get out of our silver, if ever, right? Assuming that you never want to, assuming that you want to sell. But, excuse me for the stutter. Come back over here. This is the last parabolic move on silver. And I want you to notice this. This is really amazing. This move, right, from that last move, which was about, it's 20 bars. I'm looking at a 3-day, so that's 2 months. It took 2 months for silver to go 50%. Back up a little bit further. Right? Back up, we're now 35 bars in and silver had gone up 70%. Go to the really last low. Silver went up 80% in 40 bars. All right. So as silver went up 80%, the last big move You could see that 50% move in silver in 2 months. Look at Bitcoin at the top. Look what Bitcoin did at the top. Bitcoin went down from its last run, right? Which took 10 days, and that was 70%. Wow. So that was half the time of silver and almost double the gain. I thought they were in sync. They're not. The gains on Bitcoin are definitely much, much more rapid and much greater. So that is not, I'm sorry, that's not going to help you understand when you're seeing or trying to call the top of the bubble. Therefore, the only way that I have found that we're going to know when you're in a bubble, because in a bubble, we're looking for multiple deep pullbacks, right? That's going to happen here on silver. It's going to happen on gold. Coming back to this area over here, the last big pullback, thanks for the last big pullback right over here, right? That 15% pullback. Then they had the last huge run up. From the move of the run up, when you have a 50%, was it 50%? On Bitcoin, it's 50%. If there's a 50% pullback on gold, this is also 50% on silver. Once you had the 50% pullback on gold, the bull market is over. You have to then wait for the next leg up, which is 40%. That's where you sell out. You're not trying to sell out at the top 50. If you can, God love you. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be methodical about it. And because I'm buying every pullback until the last one. Then in the last one, you're getting out. You see the same exact thing happen here on Bitcoin, where you have that 50% pullback. That's what ended the bull market, right? It's a deeper one, right? Here is 42% pullback, 43% pullback. It was 48% on silver. I'm going to keep spending as much time as I can trying to find out two things, trying to find out when the top of a parabolic move is happening and how to get out as close as possible to the top, and then how to be positioned in for the whole deflation part, because they're both as attractive. I on every single bubble that's happening and that I'm involved in, I want to know methodically before it's happening, because there's a lot of emotion happening in these things as they're taking fold, right? You're not thinking as clearly as you like. Just like, the other day on Linked, I saw Linked actually, knowing that all season is getting ready here to really heat up and start. I saw the 20% pullback. I bought it. I didn't think about it. I knew what to do. I saw it into the support. Either which way, to me, it's really when the silver is going to end. It's a good question. We could look at the last one. So, by the way, and something always to keep a mental note, you will really thank me in the future if you make this mental note today, because we've looked back at the last couple of crises when we actually have a crisis within the system. At that point, gold outperforms silver, the gold to silver ratio, like no one's business, and for great reason, right? But after that is the top. Let's look at that. Let's look at the gold to silver ratio over here. And we're looking if there's any way to know when silver is peaking, right? If silver is peaking, the last time it peaked down over here, right? It was was that an historic low when it traded down at 30? Was there? So that's interesting, right? You're looking over here at the peak. This was after the Lehman Brothers collapse, the 2008 crisis. You see the gold to silver ratio was trading at a high, and then you saw for that was the top. From then on, silver outperformed gold, right, by a huge ratio. Then we came down to the bottom. This is where the bear market began in precious metals. And from the time the bear market began in precious metals, the gold to silver ratio, gold outperformed, ending in the next crisis. It started over here, the next crisis, silver outperforms up until the end of the bear market begins. And then, when did the bear market begin in precious metals? The bear market in precious metals really began as the economy came back, from the crisis in 2008. It took a few years, right, for the economy really to come back. And once we turned over to growth, that's when gold outperformed silver, and silver no longer shined. The precious metals bear market had ended. Will it probably be something similar? I don't know if it's going to be 2022, 2023, or when we really return to growth. But it's probably going to be sometime out there. That's probably as far as this precious metal market that we're looking for it to be in a bull market. That makes sense. That's been our timeline, right? Another 2-3 years on precious metals. For that time, you expect silver is going to outperform. Clearly, at that time, if you're able to time that, look over here. It was the break of the trend line. The break of that trend line over here. That set it off. Yeah, that's a good one. But by the way, when I said take a note, here's the crisis. Go back to February, right? Here's February. These are 3-day charts, 3-day bars, by the way. February, and then in the beginning of March, and this move was massive during the crisis towards the favor of gold against silver. And that will happen again the next time we come into the crisis, because owning gold is something that in a crisis I feel good about, right? So owning it versus silver, that's a good trade. Yeah, Kips, you should risk the same, no matter what instrument you're trading, you should be risking the same portion of your account. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla down 8% today. Huge gap down. Is it coming into any area of interest? Yep, it's coming into an area of interest over here. There should be a place over here for buyers to come in and step in if they're going to, right? If they're going to. I'm not really concerned yet by any means, but this is just the first pullback right now. This is the first area to look to lean in on a pullback, and then we got this trend line below. And as long as we're above those, I'm strongly tilted towards the buy side. Now we are coming to it's the end of July, and the first few weeks of August, everybody's away. And the equity markets, trade basically sideways to slightly down. Would it make sense to see perhaps over the next few weeks some type of move? Let's look on the daily, just so we have daily charts over here, into that support, into this support over here, right? Is that possible? Going back to where we were 2 weeks ago, and the plan was, this was the exact plan. More or less, right? That we would be here coming into September. That we would be somewhere in this blue zone, right? So we're definitely on the verge of breaking out of what higher than I thought we would be. That's for sure. We almost did over here. Trade according. I think the equity markets are super risky. I think the equity markets are super risky at this point in time. And if you look back anyway, going back to the Nasdaq, this I did want to share with you. Going back, let's take a look at the NDX, and then just come back over here to the 2000 high. So we'll call it from that last 2 years. This is right here, January of 2000 of 1998. 2 years, it went up 80%. That the Nasdaq bull market 80%, right? Boom, right? So 80% off the low here. Is that possible? I don't want to start. That's not what I'm looking for. You're up 40%, 38%, right? There's some room to go. We've talked about looking at. This is what I am looking for. We're entering this stage over here right now, somewhere over here, and we have not gone parabolic. I think we do go parabolic for sure. I do believe that. But let me keep going. Go over to this was an 80% gain over here. Now go to Bitcoin and look at its last parabolic move. You're looking at 3,000% gain. So when I say the equity markets are risky, I mean the equity markets are really risky. I don't see it at all. There are a lot of people looking at Tesla, and I don't understand it. Tesla right now is so hard to price. How do you price the future of Tesla with what's going on right now in this current environment? Is anyone out there buying a new car? Now, Tesla is in good shape, right? And people are thinking about the future, and they're thinking, 3 years from now, how many units could Tesla be selling as their costs continue to go down, as their technology continues to increase? I'm that's a tough puzzle to figure out, right? That's a tough puzzle to figure out. We looked at. By the way, there was a comment, and it's a good one on the Telegram, and it was saying, conquer trading and investing for sure. I'm learning a lot about trading here. It's yet to remain to see about investing. Most investors that meet up with me, most people that come from a traditional background here of the equity markets, of the public markets, which is what everyone basically inside the US knows, and really the only market that they know, and therefore think everything else is risky. But the equity markets here look risky. When it comes to my parents and how I need to plan for them, do I want them? No, not invested in equities even at all, right? However, gold and Bitcoin, of course, I'm trying to protect them. So when we look at the investing portion, I think we're really going to see that down the line because investments take a while to play out. We will continue to, I'm looking at the markets on a daily basis, looking at where I believe these trends are taking place. Swing trading every day, looking to profit from the markets that way, right? Profiting from the markets that way, and then looking for those longer term investments as we've seen developing in precious metals. And that's just getting started still, right? That's just getting started still. But time is running out. I mean, these markets will appreciate pretty quickly in the coming months ahead. By the way, there was a great, again, if you're following the Twitter, this comment says right now Bitcoin is following its normal cycle. Anyone who understands Bitcoin is not surprised by the current price and doesn't expect a huge bull market this year. And 100%, right? 100%. By the way, have you seen, this is kind of baseball starting, they're using virtual fans. All these fans in the stadium are not real. They're fake. That's kind of scary. This is also a very big deal. You see me from time to time share thoughts from I'm so bad with names. Someone in here, please type in her name. Kathleen, is that her name? She started a bank in Wyoming, by the way. It's called Avante. They just this week got their license. I've been following her progress on this for a while. And someone please know her name, put it in there. And they're starting a stable coin, and that stable coin actually has $1 held at a regulated bank inside the US. That's kind of a big deal. And that is, think about that. You're going to be interested in that 18 months from now as as you're getting out of your Bitcoin investments and or crypto investments, right? Having a stable coin, a dollar coin, right? That's backed by $1 and held in a US bank. Not that the US banking system is the best thing in the world, but that's kind of a big deal. Bankies, greetings South Africa. Beautiful, 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 beautiful place. 332 likes. Thank you all for being here this Friday with me. It used to be, Darren, that used to be the Prius. I was just catching up. We had a lot of comments about Tesla. Yes, thank you, Rue. Thank you, Rue. Thank you, Rue. That's a big deal. Mental note. Keep track of that one in the future. Yeah, so BlockFi uses 2 stable coins, and they use the Gemini stable coin. That's that's Gemini's out of New York. The Winklevoss twins are Wall Street boys out of Yale. And are they Princeton or Yale? I don't know. And yeah, and then they also use the USDC, right? I'm not familiar with it. I'm not stablecoins is not really my thing, but they I don't know. USDC, someone knows better than me. That's for sure. You can put in the comments. I don't know. That's not JP Morgan's coin, is it? I hope not. Wow. I don't know. All as I know is any response from the Chinese government or any other government is going to be more stimulus, right? More stimulus. They've this has been going on now for a little while about that dam bottom to burst. They've told the villagers expect to be flooded. They're trying to just protect the cities at this point. That's beautiful, Mario. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for and there are plenty. Listen, the course is awesome. There are people who are like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna just take the course to support you and the channel, Jordan." But and at the same time learn something. And that's also awesome. But the course is absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's just amazing. That's a personal. Everyone should be asking themselves this question, right? What percentage of the portfolio would you hold in cryptocurrencies? So, by the way, in answering that question, and anyone who wants to go ahead and answer that question in the comments, I'm interested to see. I'll answer it myself. But Bitcoin should be separate, and cryptocurrencies should be separate, right? And for me personally, that number for cryptocurrencies for altcoins, that's about 5% for me. Someone who's really aggressive, I think 10% would be a good number. But for me, it's 5%. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Those are some big gains. Listen, in the course, my ultimate goal is only to get you to be able to do 2 or 3% a month, right? 24% a year. That's the goal of the course. That's what it's designed to do. But I see some traders absolutely killing it. 20 to 30%. Now, what happens if I was 18 years old, or 25? Would I want 20 or 30% of my portfolio in cryptocurrencies? I think so. I think so for sure. That's a good number over there, 20 to 30%. Of course, depending on your age. But even between 25 and 35, if I understood the alt season, if I understood the cycle of the markets, if you just understand the cycles of the markets, that's what investing it's about. So that's why I digress when we say whether or not the investing portion's to be seen or not. That's what it's all about. So thank you. Thank you, Mario. That's awesome of you. And yeah, that's what I'm so glad about that part, right? That, by the way, a professional trader, even taking the course, it absolutely would improve their trading. There's no question about that. 20%, I think that's pretty good amount for altcoins. 50% for Bitcoin, I think is really good. I think that's about right. 50% for Bitcoin for anybody's portfolio right now. I would not anyone. I'm sorry, depending on age over here. Let's say up until age 55. 55, maybe 50. I would say 50% Bitcoin. Yeah, it's something that you do in your own time. It's something that you do, all the material, all the course modules, all the videos, and every week new content shared, including the live training sessions. That's all done in your own time. You're either present there for them live or you watch the replays. 3% for altcoins. That's very, very good to have some type of exposure. See, so Jason, even for like my 81-year-old mother, yeah, I wish she would be in 1%. She doesn't have to because I am, but I wish that she were. And I have, brothers and sisters with no exposure. Oh, your opinion on BlockFi crypto interest account, a good idea for those who need income. I think it's quite amazing if you're able to go ahead and deposit. After 5 Bitcoin, the interest rate on Bitcoin, I believe, is 3% paid out. I believe it's 3% paid out over 5 Bitcoin. and the rates are changing. They're variable, so I'm not really up to date, to be honest. And if you're using that income, those dividends, to go ahead and live off of, that's awesome. There's not a better position to be in. There's not a better position to be in than if you were living off of the income coming out of BlockFi. 20% Bitcoin is a good, strong position. 6% for altcoins would be good. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lee. You're the man. Every one of you. I'm. By the way, smash. If I could smash the like button, I'm smashing the like button for all of you. But there's no way we're leaving this Friday, which is just still getting started, without 400 likes. That would be absolutely ridiculous. So just get it over with if you haven't already. Smash that like button. Help support me. Help support the channel. 10% of my crypto holdings are in altcoins. 90% Bitcoin. That's really, Brandon, that's really strong. That's good. That's good. Only winners here. That's why we drink coffee, right? That's why we drink coffee. 30% in crypto here. I'm, again, between that 20 and 30-year-old, demographic, 30% in crypto during this phase is awesome. That's going to make you, that is the potential to really, really make a difference. That's the thing. Now use this time as these bull markets are here, as these bubbles are being blown, to go ahead and grow a sizable investment account. Then, using the strategy taught here in the course, be able to make your 2% a month, 24% a year, 30% a year. You got it. 50% on one instrument will crash and burn. Well, I don't know, maybe, but Kips, I'm more than 50% and have been more than 50%, or about 50%. It's variable. You have to reposition, from time to time. But in Bitcoin, and I didn't sell. I bought during the dip. I bought up. As we traded down over here, I bought. I own right now, right? What I don't know what it is, 42 or 44, 4,400 Bitcoin, as well as some a little bit higher at like 5,000. Some, this was all a buying opportunity. So that's, I don't know, do you think Bitcoin's going to $35,000? I mean, Paul Tudor Jones just put 1% of his fund into Bitcoin, or more than that. And as his fund starts outperforming every other fund in the coming 18 months, every other fund is going to need to take a Bitcoin position in order to keep up. Think about it. So 30% in physical gold and silver, that's a good position as well. That's a good position. Yeah, Mar. I mean, early 20s, not financial advice. Something I would tell my nephew right now, my 18-year-old nephew, who's just took some profit on Tesla, invested in equities. I would try to advise him to get into 30% altcoins right now. 30% altcoins, and then and another 30% Bitcoin. I think that's how I would definitely advise him, and he would clean up over the next 18 months. So that's a great place to be, by the way. Above water, right? The first goal in the course, 3 to 5 weeks, get yourself to break even or barely profitable. 3 months, right? And getting to break even, that's really good, Jason. It takes people years, and most people never do it. Tesla does not have a demand problem. That's interesting to know. That's really important to emphasize, that they don't have a demand problem. And they're building that new facility over in Texas. It's gigantic. It's ginormous. It's where they're going to build their Cybertrucks. A couple also of the different models. I'm not sure which two of the particular models. It's going to be enormous. The California plant will just be focusing then on the other cars. I think that, wow, they don't have a demand problem. I want, by the way, the Tesla solar roofs. That's fantastic. That and the power batteries is amazing. What if you live to 90s and you're 55? Would I go 50? So knowing what I know right now, in 10 years from now when I'm 55, would I go 50% Bitcoin, 40% Bitcoin, 30% Bitcoin? Those are the numbers that I would be thinking about. But I understand. I've done my research. I've shared my research. It's on the playlists. You could go ahead and look at the Bitcoin playlist if you're not. Again, not investment. There's a risk to every investment. You all saw this risk over here. I don't think Bitcoin ever breaks this trend line over here, unless we have a crisis. And could we have another crisis any day now? This system is all a fraud. The whole dollar debt-based system is all one big house of cards. President George Bush Jr. said it during the 2008 crisis. His exact words were, "It's just all a house of cards," referring to the banking system. Could you wake up tomorrow and that we're in a crisis? Yeah, for sure. Could Bitcoin trade lower than 3,800? Yeah. Do I think there's any a high probability or any type of realistic probability that I need to be focused in on it of that happening anytime soon? No, not for me. The Fed has overreacted. There's plenty of liquidity there right now. Spend this weekend watching the Bitcoin playlist on the channel. Then you'll have some type of reference to be able to make a really informed decision. Oh, I don't know. I don't ever try to predict the market. Gene, I hope there's a link in the description. Could you please check it out for me, Gene? If there's a link in the description, it says trade with me. Matt, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Matt, let's talk about this really quick. Matt. This is really important. And why I say that is, I had a family member buy a really nice new mountain bike, a few $1,000s. And this was actually going back probably about, I would say, 6 months ago. And my response was, why didn't you, like in shock, why didn't you buy Bitcoin? Right? People that have this low time preference and no, because it's the life and I need to live the life and be out there having fun. Great. Go have fun on your mountain bike. But had you invested that money into Bitcoin, 2 years from now, you would have had something to work with over here. So good, Matt. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. Yeah, we go back to the beginning of this live stream by click that. There's that red pullback thing. Go back to the beginning over there because we start off talking, not the very beginning. We started off on something else today, but in the very beginning of the replay, you're going to see where we looked at the Nasdaq. We look at the Nasdaq pretty strongly today, more so than we normally do, as well as the S&P. And by watching that, as I did it live, it's just going to give you the better analysis. So do that. I own GBTC with what I have inside retirement accounts at this particular time. No matter how, you get 6% interest anything under 5 Bitcoin. You get 6% interest for holding Bitcoin, and I think there's a link in the description also for BlockFi. If you want to support the channel, I use BlockFi service. I highly recommend it. There's a risk. It's third-party risk. You have that same risk with your bank. Do you mean 20% of your total investment funds or 20% of your no of my total crypto? My total crypto holdings are probably about less than 1% of my overall portfolio. Bitcoin, yeah, 50%. Thank you, George. Thanks for being here. And God love you all for real. 737, 440 likes. You guys blew past the 400. It's been a great week. We're gonna get back into the charts a little bit. I want to continue catching up over here with the camera comments camera. So the good thing, Jeff, I think about using a Bitcoin ATM to purchase Bitcoin, as long as you wear a hat and you kind of maybe even a face mask. Of course, you'd be wearing a face mask going into a convenience store, and it's the anatomy of it. There's cameras there, but it's the anatomy. Excuse me, I can't even say the word. You're anonymous, or kind of, right? Coinbase, no, right? So what if you mine Bitcoin? By the way, you're getting clean Bitcoin. It has no history attached to it. Bitcoin, it's never been a problem though. Even if you own Bitcoin that was used by a hacker or used to launder money, and then like you wound up with it through using a coin mixer, your Bitcoin is still usable everywhere and everywhere. So I'm not trying to predict. Gibbs, yeah, of course, people drop. There are a few different types of people, but there are the people that have been here and understand the value and what's going on, and then there are people who are dropping in for the first time, and they're always like, and that's not what we're doing. Do you think a high dollar price could prevent new investors and prevent the price appreciation we saw in the post-halving? I mean, I don't see a strong dollar. I see a very weak dollar ahead. That's almost a pretty clear signal that we have going on right now, right? Even you're seeing long-time dollar bulls now throwing in, or Raoul Pal getting ready to throw in the towel on his bullish dollar. And if that comes back, that comes back. But again, I think the Fed has overreacted over here. I think that they plan on printing a lot more money. We talked about right now that the balance sheet of the Fed is $7 trillion. There's a good chance it'll be at 10 trillion before the end of the year. And who knows what it'll be at the end of 2021. Yep, 80% in crypto is way too much. 80% in crypto is way too much. Depending, better than a lotto ticket. If I had $1,000 to my name and, I was 20 years old, I'd put 100% into the top altcoins or Bitcoin for sure. And, putting $1,000 right now, by the way, into altcoins could really be something substantial during this bull market phase. By the way, I think it's called the Bitwise Top 30. I just want to show you if I could find here. I could find it really quick. Watch this chart to give yourself some really, really important perspective of what happens in the last bull market over here. I'm including right now Bitcoin versus the Bitcoin. This is just Bitcoin. Here's the top in 2008. 2017. Right? Now watch what happens when you add the top 100. The top 100 altcoins, a fund that was tracking the top 100 altcoins, which is that peaked later in January, but it dwarfed the return on Bitcoin, up almost 2,000%. Why these were up 3,400%. So they're gonna, whether it's the top 100, the top 70, I'm sorry, excuse me, the top 70 had a 10,000% return to Bitcoin's 1,500 first week of January. That's a big difference. What happens if you put in the 70? Yeah, so the top 70 performed the best compared to the top 100. And then here, which is the safer bet, the top 20 altcoins, track a portfolio of the top 20 altcoins or the top 30 if you could find it. That's looking at an 8-to-1 outperformance of Bitcoin, an 8x on Bitcoin. So take $1,000 right now invested in Bitcoin. That has the potential of becoming $10,000 in the next 18 months. 100%, 100% it has the potential. I mean, that's the bet right there. So What happens if you had that $1,000 become $80,000 if you invested in the top 20, top 30? Yeah. Does that seem like such a bad thing to do, to be invested 80% in crypto? Is that too much? It depends on how much money you have and what type of risk you're willing to take on. So think about that, because I mean, that's how it is. I have people telling my 18-year-old nephew to buy Tesla. That's really risky, buying Tesla, right? And for anyone who's buying Tesla, it's really risky. Look at this price action over here. Do you think it's risky to buy altcoins as they're about to go on into their bull market phase over here with $1,000 into potential $80,000? Is that an asymmetric bet you're willing to take? Are you willing to lose $1,000 for the potential of making $80,000? Right? So I agree. Not everyone gets it, but I get it. So anyway, take it or leave it. It's just I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's worth FOMOing after that crazy premium on Grace when you could just go buy it yourself. I would prefer to buy Ethereum on Coinbase, for all those of you who've been listening and know how I feel about Coinbase, than buy the Grayscale. Robinhood traders are going to come all in. That's right. Yeah. Buying the dips. I thought you believed that Bitcoin is very close to entering its bull market, but you seem to agree with that tweet that disagreed. I didn't see which tweet disagreed about Bitcoin. No. Oh, let me go back. I understand what you're talking about now, at least. And I think I have the Twitter right over here. You're saying over here I like this tweet over here. And it says Bitcoin is following its normal cycle, and anyone who understands Bitcoin is not surprised by the current price and does not expect a huge bull market this year. You are clueless. I agree 100%. That's why I liked it, because Bitcoin's not supposed to go on a crazy bull market this year. Bitcoin by the end of the year should be kind of where gold is right now. Gold right now is challenging its all-time highs. That's where I expect Bitcoin to be at the end of the year. That's where for a long time, that's where I've put Bitcoin out at the end of this year, is coming towards testing the all-time highs. I don't think Bitcoin makes new all-time highs in 2020. In November or December of 2020. But I do think that we are somewhere around 18,000. And it's possible we make new all-time highs, but I don't think that happens into really the beginning of 2021. In the first quarter of 2021, Bitcoin will be making new all-time highs. And then throughout the rest of that year, I believe, is when Bitcoin goes into its bull market. That's exactly what she's saying here, because she understands the cycle of Bitcoin. So that's exactly where this is not Bitcoin going doing anything. Bitcoin is consolidating, waiting to break out into the bull market. I think the US dollar is a very vulnerable position right now. I think the US dollar is a vulnerable. I don't look to hold any dollars right now at this point from what I have. Yeah, that's a for me, in my opinion, as a 21-year-old buying 50% Bitcoin, again, this is assuming you truly understand or continue to follow this channel and understand the cycle of Bitcoin. It's not like my friend who turned $3,000 or $5,000 into over $100,000 in altcoins, not having any idea what he was doing. And had he just bought and held a basket of altcoins, he would have done even better. He lost it all by holding it throughout the bear market and even adding to it, as did an extraordinarily large percentage of traders during that time. An extraordinary large amount of them. Now, if you're holding 50% Bitcoin at this moment in time as a 21-year-old, I think that's really solid and responsible. Like I really do. I think that's, I think a 21-year-old being 80% into cryptocurrencies is highly aggressive. And if that's the only money you had at that age, well, man, that's if you're able to turn that $1,000 into $80,000, taking a big risk, but better risk than buying Tesla, at $80,000, then you start having money that you could work with to really make investments, and over your next 10 years could really, really put together some money. Maybe Kips, we'll see, but I do. We'll see about Kips. We'll be here together, brother. So yeah. So and again, that's also including real estate. That's also including real estate. No, that's not. I'm not an expert in that. I really don't know. I'm invested in GBTC as a long term play. I have it inside a retirement account. Check back with me next winter, and when I'm looking to sell, I'm just going to get into cash inside there. But I don't. I'm not. I don't know the any that's not a trader's play where you need to have like be looking at charts. That's a very interesting. We're going to be headed towards a time when I've talked about this a lot on this channel several months ago. We're going to be headed towards a time where there's a reset happening as the dollar de-dollarization continues, and it's continuing, and it's getting stronger and stronger as it's weaponized. And make no mistakes about it, there's going to be a central bank digital token. It's going to be backed by the IMF's special drawing rights, including a basket of currencies, which includes gold. Is it possible that that will include Bitcoin? Probably not. Most likely what is happening right now, it'll be a quote unquote rogue country such as Iran, North Korea, Venezuela. Excuse me, not Venezuela. Oh yeah, Venezuela, 100%. They're right now for government documents accepting Bitcoin. One of those countries will start accumulating Bitcoin. Then, Russia, who sold all of its treasuries, completely de-dollarizing, right? Are they accumulating Bitcoin? If you hear Putin speak about cryptocurrency and blockchain, he is a lot more versed than any other world leader that I've seen or known. And he knows that you can't make a state cryptocurrency because you can't control it, just as you can't control Bitcoin. But the thing is that what they're trying to do is get away from this unjust system, this dollar debt-based system, and Bitcoin being hard money, as it, that's something that they could get behind. And of course, if they're one of the first countries behind it, they get that first mover's advantage. When the first country is done accumulating their Bitcoin position and announce it, that's when the real race would begin. Yes, there will come a time. There's a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's too far out for me. There's too many moving pieces over here. But the thing is that they can't put it back in the bottle. They can't. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and they can't take it away. And right now, everyone sees all fiat currency dwindling away. The problem with gold, there's a huge problem with gold. If you own a bunch of gold right now, what do you do with it? First of all, that means you can't store it at home. You're storing it somewhere else, probably somewhere in Singapore, right? And what do you do with it? How do you access it? And what happens if something happens and then you no longer have that gold because you do not own that gold? It's a huge third-party risk. You don't have to take that risk with Bitcoin. You don't have to take that risk with Bitcoin. And there's a lot of wealthy people looking to have control over their money. So we'll see. This is just getting started. This is just one cycle. We've been through the bear. We've worked through the bear. We're going to do the same thing through the bull. And then where all the money is really made, this is where all the money is really made. It's positioning out of the top of the bull market of that cycle, finding out when the accumulation phase starts again, the reaccumulation phase starts. The dark green dot, when you're 15 months out to the next halving, that is the place to begin accumulating Bitcoin again. You'll increase your Bitcoin position by an enormously large factor by getting into cash and buying back in again in green and doing it all again for the next cycle. When people want to talk about investing, this is the investment of your lifetime. This is the investment of your lifetime. You're privy to be here right now, sitting together in this room talking about it. So, you might think 1% is reasonable and responsible, and that's like, all right, there's something going on here and I don't yet understand it. It took me 2 years of full-time research to understand Bitcoin. It really did. And then, there goes, you reach a point where there's so much about Bitcoin to understand, you realize you know nothing. And it's just how Bitcoin is. Let me catch up to some comments. By the way, Friday, beautiful to be here with you all. At what price target? It's not a price target, really. I mean, it's too soon. It's too soon to get into. There is Dr. Loco, though, on the Bitcoin playlist. One of the second or third video is at what price target would I sell? It gives a perfect price target. I'd watch that video. Intel's off 17%. That's a big move. Those equity markets are risky. Not this coming winter, but next winter, yes. Yes, I'll be looking to get out of GBTC next winter. Nice, Brandon. Let's take a look over here. Lucas, there are many altcoin-specific channels that really spend their time in research, understand what's going on right now in the DeFi space, which, from what I understand, if you're an expert, you are not able to keep up to the advances taking place day to day. For real stuff. If you understood the DeFi market, the advances taking place every day and the amount of money flowing in is so big that it's so hard to keep up with, right? So I know and I understand Bitcoin, which is why, and now it makes sense why I know and understand Bitcoin. Look at the position I got on. What else? Dollar. Let's take a look at what the dollar's doing. Down towards its lows today, right? Gold continues to stalk, trading at all-time highs. It's the last bit of resistance left, and the markets are not really doing anything. Markets, if anything, are looking towards holding this support over here. So it's a dollar story today, no question about that. Are we going to see already that support holding here on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen? I'm not going to chase after an entry up there. There's no way on a Friday. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting, right? We saw the Euro Swiss franc here giving a signal this morning. You'll have maybe other chances next week, and also the U.S. dollar Mexican peso. We looked at a entry here this morning. So yeah, markets are humming. Markets look good. I feel really good and confident from what I see, and from the feedback I hear, that being here together is really paying dividends for a lot of people, and I want that to definitely continue. That's what this is all about. And it's because of the legacy financial system. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin, and it has everything to do with the dollar debt-based system. $500 likes here today. That Dinkar. Bitcoin's a choice of freedom. George, have a beautiful weekend. Mike, we did an awesome look this morning at the S&P 500. I really, only because it'll be better than what I could do for you right now. That was about an hour and a half ago as we went live. And within the first 10 minutes of this live stream, you will get a really clean look here at the equity markets, what's going on. And I advise, in order to get the good stuff, you go ahead and do that. Thanks. You two have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I want to see lots of tacos here this weekend. I think we need to have a Taco Friday today. Yeah, I think, no, I don't. I do not have any S&P open positions right now. Mike, go watch the beginning of this live stream on the pull down. Push back the right thing. Go to the beginning. Within the first 10 minutes, you're gonna get the analysis you need and are looking for. I want you to get what you want, right? What's the difference between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin? The Bitcoin Cash is basically they just split from the Bitcoin blockchain and started their own cryptocurrency by doing that. There's very little hash power behind Bitcoin Cash, if any. It's almost non-existent, and it's not secure. It's not Bitcoin. New York all-time high is 1920. We still got a little way to go. Oh, broken 19. Yes, it has. It's on its way towards all-time highs here at 1920. It could happen today. And it's beautiful to watch. By the way, this is a good image to take a look at. That cup and handle that's forming. I was expecting, without looking at the cup and handle, that we were going to see a pullback as we reached or it came into new all-time highs. Did thumbs up if you appreciated seeing this chart over here, which shows if you're looking at whether the top 100, the top 10, top 20 versus Bitcoin, and you could see that the alts over here at the height of Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was up at the very, very high 1,900%. And at that time, you were looking at the top 70 and the top 20 up 5,000%. All coins in January peaked out a few thousand to a couple thousand to a few thousand% higher. Nice. Listen, so this is super important, but this is super important. If you don't know whether to buy or sell or asking questions like, what about buying on a Friday? Is this the place to buy? Should I be buying here? That means one thing, and this is the most important thing you could hear today. Really listen up. That means that you should not be trading. By trading, you are actually diminishing your chances of ever succeeding because you have no business trading at this point. There's nothing wrong with that because you're here with us and there's a whole library of videos giving a phenomenal education like you will not find anywhere else and will work towards getting you to be a profitable trader. That's not going to happen by you taking trades that you have no business taking. Do not do that. Either go back and watch the videos and or in the description below, look for the Trade With Me link and really start trading with the course. Otherwise, you are blind. Nothing, Tom. Don't worry about it. I mean, when I say that, I mean that sincere. Don't worry about that. I mean, I'm a lunatic. I deleted the Facebook app. I had the group had like over 10,000 members in it. I had to delete Facebook though because Facebook was if you saw Snowden's Oliver Stone's Snowden movie, it's exceptional. And after that, Facebook was tracking everything you're doing, whether you're using the app or not. It's an invasion of privacy. Everyone knows about Facebook. Coinbase is the same thing on blockchain. There's nothing wrong with sending your Coinbase tokens to BlockFi. Just simply know that just without a question, they know exactly where you're doing it and are tracking it. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So I believe that one of the greatest freedoms that we all have is the right to privacy. I believe that our children, their right is in grave jeopardy. And so that's something that's important to me. That's all. No, I think that this Friday there's opportunities. I took a couple of trades this morning. My first trades all week on a Friday morning. Right? So anyone who's been paying attention and listens and knows that's actually the outside the norm by far. Yeah, I always hold my trades over the weekend. Oh, that GP. I'm going to have to Google that. I don't want to even forget. Does anyone know anything about that? That's interesting. I've not read anything yet about that. I'm looking forward to that. Rory, you're looking at the pound US dollar coming into resistance, right? So Rory, like, where's the entry? The entry is always on the pullback into support, right? So you had entries. You had an entry over here, right? And or over here. Those were possible entries, right? And or over here or down here. But there's no, are you shorting that? I'm not. Why would you? I mean, that would be extraordinarily risky, right? And if you shorting the dollar right now, does anyone want to short the dollar? I mean, go long the dollar right now? No, right? So you're not playing this resistance over here. Is that a downtrend? Kind of, you can make the case for it if you really tried, but not really. Yeah, there's no entry to be had right now. Euro, the target for me on the Euro US dollar, by the way, is pretty close to the whole number. If we get up there that quickly, that's where I'm taking profit. If we get above that trend line and break out, and now we're seeing a sustained move against the dollar that's really developing, will I get long up here, above here? Yeah, but I'm getting neutral first. I'm getting out first. No question about it. There's a link below to Binance in the description below. That's a good place for trading altcoins. I don't know. Silver is still making that. Let's look closely at silver over here. We were looking here at the 8-hour as it was making this resumption out right here. Is that an entry you're taking on silver? Only if you get out right away on a resumption down. Because this is a highly aggressive area over here. Is it possible that we break the new all-time highs? Gold is just on the verge of breaking to new all-time highs. It's possible. Now, I did say that this area over here on gold and silver are in the same conversation at the moment. I don't know that we make new all-time highs or go above it. It was in this area. We're trading in that area, and we've been now. So at any point now, I expect that pullback. At the same time, I do think we could even break and shoot up past those new all-time highs, right? This is not an exact, but if we were trading at 1950, I would not be surprised at all, or even higher, up until maybe even closer to the whole number, right? But I do believe we'll have a pullback soon, and at that point, we're going to see that probably occurring on silver as well. It looks like silver, if gold goes on to make new all-time highs, could be, looking for 2450 as an area of a full extension. Just like I would be taking profits on the Euro US dollar up into 1.17, up into the trend line. On silver, I would definitely be taking profits at 2450. At that point, I would just be like, all right, this move is overdone. I'm good to take some profits. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing the tacos, everyone. Thanks for sharing the tacos. Definitely enjoy that. I got the matcha going. This morning. Today was an espresso morning, though. Looking for the matcha. Today we got the matcha sponsored to you by Matcha Corey, ceremonial grade matcha. Shall have a great weekend. Vivi, what a fantastic week. I enjoyed it so much. Thanks for sharing that with me. It was a great week. I'm gonna thumbs up. I'm gonna go back through our library of content and try to make montages of highlights of the best information shared in those live streams. Give a thumbs up if you like that. I give a thumbs up to that, Brandon. I give a thumbs up to Bcash. being worthless. There's so many good platforms. So many good platforms. Kraken is a great one for that. So is Binance. I don't know. It's a dollar story to me right now. It's a dollar story to me. I think it's a risky investment personally. I think the equity markets are going higher. I think the Nasdaq's going higher. I think the S&P's going higher. At the same time, I think it's a risky investment at this moment. This is a good, right, Matt? What happens if the economy struggles right now? The Fed has said they're looking to run the economy hot. They're going to try to beat that 2% inflation because they know QE is deflationary. QE is deflationary. It's not inflationary. We're doing QE again right now. That means more deflation coming. However, in the near term, we're looking at much greater stimulus coming. That's going to have an effect on the dollar in the near term. That continues to be weakness. At the end of the day, we just follow the charts, right? I was a dollar bull. This year I was a big dollar bull until we broke this trend line right over here at 98.53. We just follow the charts. Pizza, Anthony, throwing pizza into the mix. If they were smart, I don't think you want to trade Bitcoin with a small amount of account. I think what you would really like to do is invest in Bitcoin, right? And you should probably, if you have a small account, you know, you have to find some way to put together money. And there's so many different ways you could do that online. And you have to be able to create that income and then just keep investing into Bitcoin. But don't try to trade Bitcoin. You shouldn't try to trade Bitcoin. Yeah, I could throw that link in right now. That's a fun one. There's the link to the Bitwise. Thanks, Nick, for being here. Don't stop. Hey, that's awesome. Thanks for building me up on this Friday morning, letting me know that. That makes me really happy to hear. Mr. Blue Box 45. Appreciate that. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Yes, I do, Kit. Kit, give me until this weekend's live stream or Monday's live stream to research that and put them together. I will do that. I am aware of one. Not financial advice, but I would do that right this second. Awesome. It's definitely awesome. Sarah, beautiful weekend. GP, thanks for adding so much of that positivity here to us. Uh-oh. Now we're bringing beer into the mix. I guess, all right, Anthony, it's true. As long as you include tacos, it goes with anything. Yeah, we'll have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Copper, I think it's 10-year resistance right now. Check that out, Will. TJ, thanks for always being that bright light over here. Appreciate that. Have a great weekend. Michael. Yeah, that's awesome. I think you can do that through Coinbase. Tom, I would do that until Bitcoin has reached $30,000, and then I would stop doing that. Thanks for the 548 likes. What an awesome session. Thank you for each and every one of you. That's right. It is a team. Oh, I thought you said thanks, Jordan and team. Thanks for the stream. It is a team. Yeah. I have to check it out. It's been a while since born and raised, right? Up on Long Island. definitely a Mets fan, but I haven't seen the logo in decades. All right, everyone. I'll see you later. Beautiful day.